Hey, do you know what time it is? That's right. It's time for Coach Lindy's podcast. The podcast to get you moving. Hi, I'm Lindy Hutchinson, a certified life mastery consultant with the Brave Thinking Institute. As a life coach, I help others transform their life as I have mine. It's not easy, but it is possible, and it most certainly is worth it. Each week, I'll share insights that inform, inspire, and ignite in you your desire to create a life that you love. So let's find out what's going on this week. Welcome to the podcast. As always, it is my great pleasure to enjoy your company for just a few minutes. I hope you're doing well. So sometimes we may feel like the odds are against us, and maybe we're struggling at times, or maybe we've gotten a pretty good start, but maybe we're starting to slow down and get a little punchy, and we're trying to find our way. Well, we're going to talk about a man who had almost no start, and he has a very exciting story. He may be someone that you remember, and maybe not. His name was Edwin C. Barnes. Ring a bell? No? Okay. His idol, the man that he looked up to, and the man who ended up changing his life, was Thomas Edison. Now, I know you've heard of him. I know, it's insulting. Okay, so anyway, Edwin C. Barnes was from the Midwest. I guess he was born originally in New York, but they ended up being on a farm in the Midwest. His parents were hardworking folks, but they didn't have much. And as a young man, he decided that he wasn't going to be ordinary. He read about and saw information about Thomas Edison, and Edison was always in the news. I think we did a segment on Edison, and if you know anything about Edison's life, he was a huge promoter. We know that Tesla was not into self-promotion at all. In fact, he kind of ran away from it. But Thomas Edison was enormously self-promoting. He was a very accomplished man, but a bit heavy on the ego. So back to, I digress. Back to Mr. Barnes. Mr. Barnes kept seeing and hearing and reading about Thomas Edison, and he figured he wanted to be, listen closely, a partner to Thomas Edison, not just work for him. Thomas Edison had a huge staff that worked for him. And this Mr. Barnes, Edwin Barnes, he wanted to be a partner. And this was someone who was much younger, had no money, no connections, he had nothing. And the way that he got to see and meet Thomas Edison was one source says that he scraped together enough to get a one-way rail pass to New Jersey, where Thomas Edison's lab was. And then a couple other sources said, no, he stowed away. He didn't have any money. So whatever it wasn't very fancy, and it showed incredible determination. I'm not saying that you should not pay fair or do things illegally, but we are focusing on his drive, his irrepressible desire to become a partner with Thomas Edison and to change his life into something that was maybe okay, but ordinary into extraordinary. In fact, our power word for this week is irrepressible. And I would encourage you to look up, Google, and as my favorite source, as you know, is YouTube. Look up Edwin C. Barnes. There's little short movies, there's long movies, there's a lot of information. He was quite an amazing man. So he got from the train, went from the train, and he was actually able to physically go and meet Thomas Edison. And apparently he did it in a way that was actually kind of rude. But Thomas Edison, who said he looked like an ordinary tramp, but he said that there was something about the expression of his face that conveyed determination. He said he'd be my partner. I decided to give him a chance. So Thomas Edison was impressed by this young man's irrepressible attitude. He looked like a tramp, but he had a fire in his bones. So he was hired, but we can see how Thomas Edison was pretty shrewd. He didn't just say, oh yeah, come work with me, here's a great paying job. He didn't know this guy, and he wanted to see what he was really like. So he basically gave him sweeping jobs, mopping jobs, cleaning jobs, and Barnes wisely took every job that Thomas Edison gave him. Now, apparently, for quite a while, Barnes was the laughingstock amongst the other male workers there because he was like a scullery maid. You know, he was always cleaning something or sweeping something. And of course, we know that Edwin had much higher, lofty ideas about what he was going to do. It wasn't sweeping floors, but he knew that he wanted to prove to Edison who he was and what he could do, and he wanted him to see the spirit in which he embodied anything that Thomas Edison gave him, and he did. Now, he after, I thought it was a couple of years or so, though he was always looking for an opportunity to really get a serious job with Thomas Edison. Edison had developed a new invention that was called the Edison dictating machine, or the dictaphone. And the problem was his team wasn't real excited about trying to sell this thing. But Barnes wisely jumped in and said, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. So he volunteered to sell the machine. He didn't ask for approval, a title, or a big contract. He just started hustling. And as it turned out, he was an amazing salesperson. So Edison made him an exclusive distribution deal. And per his desire, Edwin became Thomas Edison's partner, which was the whole thing that he wanted, the whole reason why he went there. But it stressed that he had a burning desire, and also selling these Edison Ediphones made him very wealthy. But he won the respect of Edison, and he did it with a lot of hard work, and he had to swallow his pride because he ended up being a cleaner, mopping and cleaning and sweeping, which was not considered a very illustrious career. So what can we learn from Edwin? That your circumstances or your beginnings, your origins, don't matter as much as your mindset. And that opportunities really don't knock, that you need to create the opportunity. We remember Edwin was not invited to see Mr. Edison. He wasn't a part of a group that was in for introductions to see Thomas Edison. He just barged in. He could have easily thrown him out. But Thomas Edison sensed the fiery desire that he had. And then a definiteness of purpose, or a clear, unshakable vision of what he wanted to accomplish. And so these are things that we need to have to achieve our goals. We need to understand, and the good thing is, if we don't have money, we don't have connections, that's okay. You can still reach where you want to go. Create your own opportunities, and you've got to have a very definite purpose, a very definite vision. So if Barnes could do it, then so can you and I. So Edwin C. Barnes, look him up, interesting fellow. a lot of determination and chutzpah, as they would say. So this week, our word is irrepressible. And Edwin C. Barnes had an irrepressible drive. So from our Hey That's Funny file, from, I think it was Phyllis Diller, she said, the only thing my husband and I have in common is we were married on the same day. I love Phyllis Diller. Again, if you are younger and you don't know who Phyllis Diller is, watch her. She's hilarious. And she talks about her husband, Fang, which I always got a big kick out of. So enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and keep building your dream and building a life that you love, because you're worth it. Right? Okay. Looking forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Bye. Hey, thanks for joining me this week. I look forward to being with you every week. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, please email me at coachlindy@lindyhutchinson.com. My name is spelled Lyndi, so it's Coach Lindy, Lyndi, at Lindy Hutchinson, LYNDIHUTCHINSON.com. I value what your input is, and I'm always open for suggestions and ideas. If you will like and or subscribe to this podcast, that would be wonderful. I appreciate it. And I enjoy anything that you might want to send in, or if you would like some more information about coaching, send me an email and I will get back with you, and we'll talk about how you can create your best life. Have a good week. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.